him being an extremely talented Sky player. But that is all the time we have for now. Like I said, HONK must win this if they want to stay in the qualification race. Over to you, Mitch and Lothar.
Well, split time indeed. 25 seconds until the barriers go up. Now, we were talking about these compositions and how you'll see Jet get aggressive. Well, it just so happens we might get to see it straight away as Ballista will start on the defensive side.
Yeah, and you know what's happy? You know what's funny? You mentioned about the aggressive Jet, but it's not how Ballista actually plays. They do play, and it's something I see that HONK is not really aware of, at least for the pistol round, or have different plan. Morphin on Brimstone is actually playing very aggressive B. Look at that. They go for the orb and just go back. Now they know there's execute, slow execute at least on A. They will be rotating and giving away control of mid.
So on their way over, but it's going to take a while. Luckily, QXV dominating the fights. The dash into the corner. Another headshot delivered. QXV on fire. And that mid lurk from Trex is going to get nothing done around the... Whoa, maybe it is. One kill, but runs out of ammo. The right clicks costly for ammunition. And that is a 1-0. Starting it out well. Ballista win the pistol.
Yeah, a very cool play by Ballista because they gathered so much information by having Morphin and Build actually push that garage B. They basically know it's A. Like they know it's A because nothing was happening on mid. Because there's only Raze on mid that was very quiet, only lurking. So pretty cool cool information gathering from Ballista, which allowed them to prepare those defense lines on A. And now this round, probably very slow. No pushes from Ballista. They are known from Haven to be playing very defensively against eco rounds, but they don't know yet this is a force.
With that said, I think a lot of damage has already been done to Raze. A slight early peek into B. Wasn't even for the nade. It must have been Boombot, I guess. And just straight away dinked out of it. Now on down to 1 HP. That's a pretty tough loss. Straight away when your B defender is that low. It means you kind of have to have a second player there or swap him in. But I guess Brimstone has been holding it out, at least in the pistol. A strong opening on the mid aggression. Take down HONK to one player less. Although it's almost a trade back of damage done. With the nade already out of Raze's hands, I believe we saw her throw that in B main. Not 100%, but pretty sure. It should be an easy kill. The only thing is timing. If that Raze manages to push down or catch them off, it could be a nice, free and easy kill, but it doesn't matter. Speaking of which, on the A site, they've already shut them down on the ramp push. That split in through vents is very, very late, and Chomp is left alone to 1v3. Out you go at knife out, and good night, sweet dreams. That's unfortunate.
I have to ask this. Why pro players have this habit of swinging the knife? He actually made noise as well with that. Imagine that happening like on a final round of the match. He's actually giving away information that he is running with a knife out. And
yeah, true, because I was thinking for a second, well, he was making noise when he's running on the vent, but it's a good point. You're not only communicating, hey, I'm running, it's like, and I don't have a weapon. Feel free to peek me.
It's gonna take 750 milliseconds for me to equip myself, so it's a little bit awkward. But what I wanted to point out, Jet, XQE, was playing long range with Phantom, which is perfect against a force buy, right? They will have a Spectre, which is horrible long range. You have the ADS, and even if you ADS, it has horrible accuracy on like when you try to breach a lobby. So they had a backup. They all were playing. They were just giving up A side, but they were defending from A screens. And because they knew Brimstone already used all of his smokes, they would just free control because of that. They had free control of the push.
Oh, nice stuff by Batty G. Speaking of free control, there's none given away this time to the attackers because they're in a much more aggressive position than previously. I say that, though, when you look down at B, Sage has made it out. She's on top of her wall and trying to posture for a fight into the Heaven players. Dreamhouse gets taken down. There's Sage in a lot of trouble. Smoked out, pushed out, and left alone to 1v5. I think this might just be the end of that one. Batty G, a little bit of an early nade, but he's buying time for his teammates to rotate in, fully maintain this control. There's the downside as well, Lothar, of obviously the patch that came through on Sage a little while back. Her self-heal, it doesn't heal her up that much. Just 57 HP even afterwards.
Yeah, it heals for 60, but if you're damaged at some point, it's gonna stop the heal for 2 seconds, and then you're gonna heal for even less, and it's super slow. I feel like it's a little bit too slow, you know? By the way, what do you think about if Sky would be able to self-heal just like Sage can, but with a slower rate and way lower amount? Would that be OP?
I don't know if it would be OP so much as kind of like unnecessary in a way. I kind of like the idea that she can heal her teammates and not herself, albeit maybe doesn't make a lot of sense in the lore, but then again we have someone that raises a wall from the floor, so
Well, that's pretty quick.
well, this is going to be nice. A spray through the smoke with the Phantom, perfect. You don't give away any tracers, so you can just spray to your heart's content, but QXV does still take a little bit of a tag. Players approaching the one on the site who's in a bit of trouble. It's Bold catching one from up above. A bold move if he peeks out wider, and indeed he does. Destrian destroying him and putting it down now to a 4v4 in the retake. That wall is not great. I think you can still jump over it fairly easily, and with a jet even more so. And in fact, there's a massive hole in it because they've shot it, so never mind. Nade down and aftershock. Okay, they're really making sure no one's there. Just to make sure they're double dead if they are. Down goes the blast pack, but it's not down long enough to activate for serious damage, but it's all a distraction, a ruse, as Morphin comes from behind. Now they're going to double peek it in the corner as well. Great trade, and QXV up close. Phantom in hand, doesn't know about Sage. Champ at least grabs one, but it's back to a 2v2. Molly out, it's going to cover for the push. They know the player's stuck on site after Bryn's ult went down, and Morphin with the triple closes the round. They should have enough time to get that defuse, and that is 4-0 for Ballista. Bit of a crazy round there, though. That was wild.
I have to say something. I feel like HONK is either, like, let's say, on the lower side mentally, or they didn't prepare for this match. Because yesterday when I was speaking with Yautsin, the coach of Ballista, I actually told him, on split, if I would be playing against you, I would be playing a lot of defaulting, because I know Morphin is pushing B garage so often, and I would just catch him a lot of times. And he's still doing this, and he's not being punished. And he is the guy that is trying to get, like, you know, spawn control, get that lurk, and so on. And it feels like HONK is not really doing a lot against that, when it's basically a free kill if you just play default a little bit longer. And that round was super fast.
Addy G, he's really playing with fire on this one, Lothar. Getting up close, inside the smoke. Nate goes down. Luckily, there's no one there to return fire on him. Taken down in the first place, especially when there's an alarm bot in play. It just feels unnecessary to play like that with a Vandal. You know, we're just stacking up things here that are potential problems. But that's control over mid, given to HONK, and now they just have to make a decision on what they want to do with it.
This is such a weird run. Look at that. 4 people right now in vents, trying to get something going. Morphin is just waiting for someone to peek from it. So basically, because of the control of B Heaven with the turret, Ballista for that. But that flash perfect.
It's with pistols, but there's the fallback plan, right? QXV is there to support the nade. The dash saves his life. He manages to make it around to heaven. Now they're ready to double peek yet again. And good night and sweet dreams. Even an Aftershock kill coming in down in vents amongst the madness. The buffed range on Aftershock helping out. And Jump! Hello, there's a double. He's ready for more, but runs out of ammo. And unfortunately, the slow orb. It's not a Pokeball, unfortunately. And Kareem's able to escape with his life. If he didn't spray in the smoke, though, that, you know, it's one of those decisions, man. Maybe it gets you the kill, but if it doesn't, you're in trouble.
That was super funny. He actually hit him. He actually hit him, but I said the flash was perfect to get Morphin change his position, but XTV was actually playing off angle, and he was prepared to hide from the flash to just kind of save Morphin out of a bad situation. So very well played from Ballista. I really like the setup, like the duo setups, right? This is something we see from Ballista. They have 2 players next to each other, so they have like 2 duos and 1 solo player somewhere on the map, and they play off each other. It's really cool to see, because they're prepared not only to trade, but also to play against the utility at the same time. So you know that your opponent is playing Breach, you know how to play against it. And that's right.
In a way, I feel for HONK. I really do. Like, they're being put into this very uncomfortable position where you've seen them now try multiple things and get very little success. They got on the site, they got a plant, but there was no way to convert it after. And now the op comes out, and this is where things get even scarier versus this jet when they're able to take these kind of peaks. Oh, I thought that was a collateral. I thought that was going to be the double kill.
I'm not sure if I'm a fan of aggressively peeking here, because you know your opponent has a res, so they're gonna be aggressive peeking even to set up for a trade because they can just res and get an even number of attackers. But at the same time, they'll have to get that at some point. But look at beautiful, still 2 kills. Unlucky, he's on a kill tree, so he cannot dash away.
Did they already use their wall? Or were they so confident that the fake towards B from the Rays was going to drag? No, they hadn't used their wall. That's careless. That could very well have been the res. You don't even need to fully wall it. You can half wall and still push around. In comes Trex. Now, he was being tailed. He had a player coming behind him, but they've managed to shake the tail and get onto the site. Look to grab a plant and a 3 versus 2 after plant. They've got everything to work with. Orbital strike and showstopper. There's pretty much no way to get back in here for Ballista. They would need the kills almost immediately, but they're going to try to apply some pressure.
They will try because they want to destroy the economy of HONK, right? They have stacks and stacks of cash in their bank, and they just need to do damage. Unfortunately, one player goes down.
That's very ludicrous. Oh, hold on! Trax was in trouble. Very ludicrous use of the Brimstone ult. You know, calling down an orbital strike when you know he's inside of screens. Hey, you might get the kill, you'll delay him a couple of seconds. The lucky thing there is that they managed to initiate the fight on the Morphin, and so they at least got something for it. But I think that's really a mission success for Ballista. They wanted to drop some weapons. Yep. Okay, they didn't do it, but they did manage to use up a very valuable ultimate.
For sure. Like, I'm actually very surprised that we have seen this Brimstone ultimate being used that round, especially when the time was already running out, right? I guess in some way you're using that ultimate to just make sure your economy on guns is a little bit better, because your opponents will not just push mindlessly, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like a little bit of a panic, right? Like itchy trigger finger. You've got it. You're like, I can use it. I can it. The Trex, he's securing so many kills. He finished off the previous with a 3K, shut down both players pushing, and now he gets one and dies because QXV, he's here to play. Dashed into the right corner though, so he's still in a little bit of danger as the smoke fades. It was his own cloudburst that was down, and so he didn't really have time to cross over. But now he's gonna they're gonna push down mid. But here's where you see the breach never mind, he's gone. You don't see him because he's dead as hell. So actually now, man advantage. Ultimate's in their favor. There's a lockdown in play for HONK, but look at all that yellow for Ballista. The spike still hasn't been planted, and as Jet comes into heaven to clear this out, that's a very advanced position. It's not expected. Dreamus, though, in the same boat, able to catch you off Batty and Spawn. Here's where QXV wants to surprise him, but he can't get it done. Misses the shot. Big whiff. That could cost them a lot. Morphin in for one. They know where both players are now. That's why the Rolling Thunder gets deployed. It catches them off. They're stunned. QXV is on the way, hunting through, making sure Sage doesn't cross back either, and now they're going to group up and push this together. Updraft over. He's just getting the information. He knew he was probably dead, but they win the round, and that's all that matters. 6 on the board now for Ballista, and a really nicely executed... It wasn't even a retake. It was before the spike even went down.
I feel like the beginning of the round is like one thing, right? The kill on the breach was a little bit off-putting for HONK, because I feel like Mickey Boy was actually just trying to communicate with his team and wasn't paying fully attention to what's happening, and he was just caught off guard. But what I was really a big fan of from Ballista this round was how XQV played it. He played it so patiently. He didn't get the kill on Dreamus, right? He didn't just push. He didn't just go and try to chase him because his teammates were coming from the defender's spawn. What he did, he was waiting for the flash, he was waiting for the ultimate, because he knows that then, when that happens, he has that kill at some point, right? And then when he is low HP, he just gathers the info for the trades. It's really well done. A very mature play from XQV.
Bold in a bit of trouble straight away. Drop down. The blast pack going to be used for Batty to just evade any more damage, and luckily evades the Rolling Thunder that was almost right next to him. A little bit off the angle. Now, coming back in through mid for QXV is risky. He manages to go in just in time to grab a double. My God, man. That is clean. Showstopper pop to gain some room. It clears out Heaven for just a moment, and the spike will go down. But Ballista, they are hot on retakes. They've been looking so damn good. They're happy to take head peek angles, smoking out with the cloud burst, getting themselves into position. Flash goes down. It blinds QXV. Well, he's blind for about 6 minutes now. Another one hits him. He can't see a damn thing. Another one. How many times is QX gonna get flashed? Morphin, good for one. QX up behind the site, but now 1v2 to deal with, and it's not happening. Trex, another triple kill, and a second round for Honk at last.
Yeah, I felt like the last flash was actually from Ballista, and XQE just got caught, you know, by it. But I'm not sure if you realized in what way XQE was using his smokes on the pillar. They were actually used to also counter the flashes from Breach in case he uses them on the pillar from the other side.
Ah, of course, yeah, you could see, because the left one, it provides that little bit of support if they're inside main, right? And then the right one is for if they're on site. Very nice.
It's like a combination of a one-way for you when you just can cross from rafters, but also it just counters the flashes from Breach.
He had a Doom gun for a second there. It was right in the middle of the screen. I like that. I tried playing Counter-Strike like that once. It didn't go well. I thought, bring me back to the browser game days, but...
Well,
Honk, they've lost a player right away. That mid-peak, QXV has just been so strong on holding down this position. But now, they're being pressured on A. And the problem they're going to have is that, well, they can't really do anything. They have nothing to counter that lockdown, and so site control is going to completely go towards them. But immediately afterwards, Bolt starts to make a move. He's here with Jet, having already popped up that ultimate, farmed it after the many, many kills QXV's participated in. Vandal out now as they look to come back up. They have no idea that he's in the corner. First kill found. That's a good use of fake footsteps by his teammates, but the ultimate, well, it doesn't get it done for him. Down to just 2. Ballista, they're falling apart. Batty G eventually in with the flank that could save it all. They deal with the Killjoy ultimate. The nade down buys him space, but look where it's planted. It's so open. Honk have perfectly switched positions into Heaven. The flash is perfect. Batty, he doesn't even know where he is. He's shooting absolutely everywhere. Up in the sky, they lined up, but it's not enough, and Batty hasn't got the time to make this happen. Surely damage done. Both players now low, but they still have a flash, and he's only got 1 bullet. Out of here is where Batty's going, and that will be another round for Honk. Nicely done on that little bit of a switch up into Heaven. If they don't get that position, they probably lose it, but then they can just play cat and mouse with Batty, who has no way to initiate that fight unless they choose to.
Yeah, Mickey Boy being an MVP of this round here. Dreamers got caught, but that gives information for Mickey Boy. He gets that kill on XQE, and then immediately peeks Heaven when he knows that their opponents are still a little bit caught off guard. And because of the double kill, he opened also the post-plant basically peak angle for them, right? Because it was planted on Heaven, but they needed the control of that, and they didn't have it yet. Just after the Mickey Boy double kill, they had that open.
Yeah, exactly. That's what bought them so much space. That you know, oh, hold on. The mid aggression now is insane from Ballista. And we're seeing usually Jet be the point man of these kind of pushes, but Trex, well, he's not afraid to get involved in these fights. Nade down. It's not going to do much for them. QXV is actually in a lot of trouble here, and the wallbang confirms that. Down to a 1v1 though. Morphin from the side completely caught them off guard. He's dropped the spike, but he doesn't know where the final player is. Turns away at just the wrong moment. He's worried about sewers, but little does he know Killjoy's coming behind. I see, though, Killjoy hasn't cleared him either. I didn't see the tail as he walked around. Didn't see the ankle or his shoelace. And this could be timing for Morphin to win out the round. He's coming up. There's absolutely no read there. And Honk, oh, they've thrown it away. The eco win for Ballista to put them on 7.
This was hilarious. If you were paying attention to the mini-map, it was so hilarious that they actually just perfectly missed each other whenever they actually just kind of make a little turn. But it was not entirely like an eco round. We have seen Batty G with the Vandal, Hero Vandal round. Right, he opened that kill. The first one actually opened a lot of space for Ballista to get control of mid. But then we have seen Morphin with a double kill with the Sheriff. We have seen also XQV with 1 kill. And what is very important, Honk didn't go for the res because they knew that they're gonna just die again to the utility from Batty on the raise. So it was an awkward spot, really awkward spot.
it was also kind of funny because it's a complete counter to what we said about Ballista on attack. They're so conscious of the ecos, and they are making sure that a random player doesn't come up behind them with a sheriff and win the round, and then that's exactly what HONK do. They get a sheriff gets a 3k and wins it because he just blindsides them. And double nano swarm molly as well. Oh, you're dead, Batty. You're so dead running through that. Good utility usage there by Ballista, or by HONK, excuse me, but they have taken a lot of damage. Out goes QXV, dash immediately out. That's the benefit of the Jet over the Sage, to try and get those one-off fights and then just get out for free. They don't now know about Kareem, but they do when he walks backwards into them. And so a 2 versus 4 emerges, despite the low HP on HONK. QXV has just been equalized a little bit, and then well taken all the way down. And so just one man remains. This should be HONK's 4th round. They should be at least building up those attack-sided rounds. And look, it's even further confirmed by the fact that Killjoy is running away as quickly as possible.
So this is one of the rounds, I think the only round, when I have seen Ballista a little bit, let's say, not aware of what's happening on the map, right? This is the first time they got caught, like in the back. We have seen on B side 2 players being shot in the back, literally, because they were not aware that HONK got the B control and got out of garage. So it's a little bit something that we didn't see from Ballista before. It feels like the past 2 rounds is not the team that we have been witnessing so far. But at the same time, I feel like Split is a map that is a little bit attackers based. Not sure how you feel about it. I feel like in a competitive setting, the attackers should have a small edge.
I can see that, certainly with the more recent changes that were made to Split. The thing that always stresses me out when it comes to saying whether it's attack or defense-sided and so on is the constant change in meta caused by just one agent. And it's not just the fact that one agent can change a comp, but it's how many different comps you can have around it. So it's almost on a case-by-case basis. You know, if you, for example, if you were to take 5 duelists, I wouldn't say, oh, it's slightly attacker-sided. You better damn hope that it's fully attacker-sided, because your benefits on defense are going to be limited at best. Obviously, there is still viability, and we can talk about that all day long, but it's just a surface-level point. But yeah, no, I agree. I think for HONK, if they manage to at least get, 6 rounds and a half, I know it's not possible now, they would be in a good spot. 5, well, considering how things have gone, it's pretty damn good. And they're going to attempt it with a full B rush, and Bold, he's just gotten a double. They've lined up completely. Blast Pack Batty's got no problem, because the idea of that Aftershock is that, well, you pressure him, but you can't because your whole team's dead. And Batty, just like that, comes in for the final kill, almost steals away what could have been the 4K, and possibly even the ace. 8-4. A tough half. A really tough half.
I'm not a fan of what happened in that round. They didn't use any utility to clear default positioning on site. Like, look, they're just going in blind. The turret doesn't get you in a good angle because it's set up on the actual, heaven, instead of gathering information on default. So what you have seen here is Build is just getting a 3 frags. Literally free frags. I know my accent, right? But you know what I mean.
I get you. We get you for sure. I think the problem is that if you do that, if you just dry push out like that quietly, you don't use utility because you're trying to not get nano swarms and stuff activated. Now, 2 problems. One's Killjoy. So, if you're doing this versus Astra in the future, fair enough, but she has an alarm bot, she has her turret, so she'll get the info. And secondly, they put a turret down. So not only did they not use util, they telegraphed hey, we're going to push out main now, and they did nothing to stop anybody from fighting them, which was very odd.
Yeah, I would love to see an Aftershock being used on default position on site instead of being under heaven, which is a little bit odd, at least from my perspective. But new round, new beginning, 8-4 for Ballista. Now they are on attack, and I cannot wait to see what is the plan. Currently, it seems like a little bit of a default control.
Oh, down through mid. Shump, good for 1, traded out immediately. Losing your Sage in the pistol round. When a lot of players pick up no armor, that heal is actually much more valuable than it normally is. But hey, you can't heal players that are dead. And Bold, well, he's dead straight away. So that's a nice little start for HONK. Damage done to the breach. QXV tries to get something in here. Already used up his dash. There's a cloud burst. Only 2 remaining. And their opportunities are... Oh, no, that's a team stun as well. Luckily, didn't cause too much hassle. QXV dives down on the site, takes a kill. There goes the boom bot and the aftershock, just to be doubly sure. And they're going to just go in for the plant. It's secured, but here comes the retake. Immediately, both players are stunned up, the planter and QXV. Nade doesn't stop them pushing out, but that info is already gained. They've heard the steps. They know that the push is about to come underway. QXV in there with a solid 4K and an absolutely huge round. That is nuts from this Jet player. He was 70 HP. He only had cloudbursts left, and it just doesn't matter. 1 and 2. Nice and beautifully done. Playing off his teammates as well the whole time.
Yeah, so I really like how they play post-plant, but I'm not a fan of how they played pre-plant. Like, they split. XQV was alone on Heaven B. He was getting control, but he had no backup. It was basically, if he would have lost the duel at some point, the round is lost, right? He had to go in a hero mode to gather a little bit of map control, get that Heaven B map space for the teammates so they can go through Garage and get the plant. But then post-plant, the positioning was perfect. Every single time, with 3 players, right? They had a crossfire for every single duo. So XQV was doing double duty. One left, one right, but when he was peeking, he was always having a crossfire with someone, which is very important. So very well played of the teammates, and basically there was a contingency plan that wasn't even needed because he got double kills.
There we go on the attack out towards the B site. Trex with a Bucky in play. Sadly, not going to do too much versus Kareem just outside the danger zone. And Mickey backs off. Classic in hand. He'll get a heal, but the weaponry definitely isn't the most threatening for HONK right now. Ballista, though, allowing them to get a little bit closer. They're playing a relatively passive fight. You have Buckies being retrieved and now sought to use on those close range angles, but it doesn't get them a whole bunch. There we go with 10-4. And another point that I also want to bring up quickly, because it feeds back into what you asked just before the half ended, Lothar, is that for HONK, they pick up something like 20% more rounds on attack than they do on defense historically, and they've about the same amount starting attack and defense, at least a decent amount. So that also feeds into the fact that not just on a composition base or a map base, but certainly for HONK, they expect to pick up the majority of their rounds on the attack, and that didn't happen. And now they're even starting to fall behind on defense. It's danger. I'm in danger.
Danger. It's the danger zone. If someone did watch us.
You want to sing it? Go ahead.
TV series.
You can probably do the guitar.
Well, I don't have my amp with me. Maybe later. Okay.
Yeah. We'll try next time. Sunday.
Yeah. Look at this. Look at this. Ballista just gave up an entire map, but they are losing also a player on ramp, but instead they get the entire A control. That's odd for HONK. They just gave up on A. They will play retake with no ultimates, just with the utility.
I have to say, in this position, HONK, they've got a pretty good chance to get in there. The only problem for me is this man here. I'm glad we switched to him. Morphan coming up behind, and they have no idea, no notion that this can be happening. And this is the thing. You notice that Ballista now start to take a lot of fights on site. This is them saying like, hey, look at us. But Morphan, he was shot in the back. Destrian picks up a double, and now it's all down to Kareem. They don't know where he is, and he picks up the first position. Given away in the spam from Destrian, closes that one out. 10-5. One more round for HONK, and one step closer to making this comeback happen, but it is a long road ahead, and a treacherous one at that.
Yeah, I really like how Destrian just, hit his shots. It is what it is here, right? He just got the double kill and opened the entire side for his teammates to follow. Like, he was the first one going in. He was the entry frag. The job is, you get the info for your teammates so they can trade you. You're not expected to actually kill anyone. But he gets double, and that's it. It's quite insane.
Well, I do...
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I do wonder, actually. I'm just... It's something we'll have to talk about afterwards. Maybe we can have a big conversation on Saturday about it in our off day. But I wonder if, because in Counter-Strike, for example, there's a discrepancy between the top 10 teams and the top 50 in terms of how maps play out. Like, you'll see top 50, a map can be very CT-sided, and then top 20, it's actually very attacker-sided. So I wonder if the same thing has happened here, because obviously cross-region we have such different styles of play, but I'd love to sit down and really look through each composition and how successful it is on each statistically, because obviously we can guess and we can say what we think, but statistics would always be interesting to get, so maybe we'll look into that someday. What I won't look into too much is if HONK lose this round, because they're pretty much playing it as a bonus. You know, they haven't got the best of weapons. They have some heavy rifles like we're seeing here from Chomp, but that Bookie, obviously, as you saw, didn't stand a chance. Doesn't matter though, because it's all down to Morphin. A 1 versus 3 and a 1v3 again with the res coming in. Not a chance. Double peaked, double dead, and 10-6 we go.
Double peeked even from 2 different angles. Impossible to get a double kill in that situation for Morphin. Even if he would be, I don't know, maybe if he would be Neo. The one from Matrix.
Maybe like a spin bot or something, possibly, but yeah, I think then they'd have more problems.
Yeah, it's probably a very short-term play.
We won the round, but we got immediately disqualified. But you know what?
Can you imagine the red screen going up and then
oh no!
Oh,
someday it is going to happen. You know it is someday in open qualifiers, and it's going to be hilarious. But until then, we're okay. We're safe. I think we're safe in this one. Well, who's not safe is Dreamass, because he's spamming that with a Vandal, already down to 50 HP. They can see Tracers, and a nade straight on his face. Holding. Whoa! QXV just went through the molly. He's down to 4 HP now. Was it worth it for the split second? I mean, he was already pretty much dead. He was on like 14 or something beforehand, but very, very close to the line.
Maybe he did the math, you know?
Oh, that's not a nice way to go. Caught between a rock and a hard place, or an orbital strike and a showstopper. Here comes Lockdown as well. HONK throwing everything at this one. Morphan up close, but not able to get it done. Still, damage dealt. Both players now on each team had low HP, but QXV's the last alive. 1v2, Vandal in hand. One shot, headshot possible. But he has to get down to the site. The spike down in the alley. The drop made noise. He's given away where he is. His fan. Well, he might not need to cool off after this one, because he might be dead. And typically dead people don't need fans, at least in my experience. Not that I have that much
What about
experience.
Elvis? Wait, he might not be dead.
It's a conspiracy. He can't get the spike here. They've completely backed off. I kind of like that they give him this space, and they're happy to play the retake when they have certain information on where he is. They can play it together rather than take duels individually. Plus, they can buy time now for the Sage heal, which is an even further point, but I don't think they're doing that. The jump down already, and QXV gets it with a Vandal. This is winnable. The updraft now, he's on top of the wall. Do they know that? Oh, the timing! QXV, you beast! He takes it 11-6, an absolutely unnatural round to win. I can't believe what I've just witnessed. 25 kills!
I have to be savage a little bit here. Like, this is a throw. This is a throw. There was absolutely no reason for anyone here to use utility at any point. They should have just been next to each other. They know XQV is on 4 HP. They literally know that. Right? There's no way of healing for Ballista. They know how much everyone did damage. So the rest of the team can just tell him, yeah, he's on 4 HP or maybe 20 or whatever. It's one bullet. Yeah. You just go straight up, no utility, guns out blazing for a trade. That's it.
No
and
Sky,
actually
no
was
Sage.
able to like separate 2 1v1s because of that. Nuts.
Yeah, it's a bit unreasonable, really. Do they check top left? Yeah, QXV has already seen it. Free kill. Gets traded out right afterwards, and they're going to look to push to site. No wall down. Instead, it's the smoke in heaven in the fight that they're looking for. Bold with a huge kill. Kareem in with another. And HONK, they're in dire straits. A 4v1. And I don't think the opportunities are going to be given to Dreamass that QXV found in the previous. This is a tough one. A tough pill to swallow. And utility down to block him even from pushing out. I mean, if ever I've seen an impossible task, this would be it. And I think he's realized it as he starts to back off. And a shame, really, as he sits there with his lockdown in his pocket, not able to pull it out.
Oh, he gets the kill. No way.
Cool. Oh, he's going for this. So just running out in the open. Down goes the turret to cover his back. Now he's just worried about sight. Dodges the fault line, swings, gets another no way this works out. Lockdown still to play with, but Batty G in to save the day. 12-6, 1 round to go. Match and series point for Ballista in an attempt to knock out HONK from this spot in Challengers and then completely end their chances of making it to Masters. They've got to make a reverse sweep of 6 consecutive rounds and then win another map. It's a tall task.
Yeah, he had to go for that retake, right? As low as the chances are for him, if there's a chance he can win a round and set up the match for 11-7, 11-7, it will be a huge win for HONK because that just allows them to play a little bit, to their odds. Otherwise now, they're always on a match point. Every single round has to be meticulously played and with no error whatsoever.
It's like an arcade game, right? Yeah. Not an arcade, like a fun fair, step right up, 6 chances to get the basketball in the hoop, and then you realize sometimes that basketball is bigger than the hoop. Not quite possible, but...
HONK right now is playing Dark Souls. One hit, they're dead.
I like it hit a lot in that game. The block mechanics don't work for me, mainly because I heard that's not how you're supposed to play the game, but, I'm still trying. Still never to finish one of those, by the way. But I did finish Sekiro. I was quite happy about that. For Ballista, the point I'm just trying to build on there is that, it seems very easy, right? 6 rounds, 6 attempts to close it out. Easy peasy. But sometimes that's when the pressure is applied, and we've seen players, right? The typical thing, the choke. But it's a very different environment when you go from you're just playing around. It's like, okay, now we just win it. Now we close it. And that's when the mind games start to come into effect. And I like what Ballista are doing. Sending QXV out to fake.
Lovely.
And look at them come. Oh, come one, come all. Come to the A site. And you know what they're thinking now, Lothar? We've got lockdown. We've got everything. Oh, this is such an easy round. And boom. Oh, they're coming out with the knife out and everything. This is as easy as it could be. Batty G in with 2. Can he make it 3? No, but the trade is there immediately. And that is the end of the game. 13-6. And a dominant showing from Ballista, confirming their spot in the main event.
I can't remember